All right, everyone. Welcome to LeapMeet 63, April 2022 TradeLog review and interactive Q&A session at the end. So please feel free to ask any questions. At the end of the meeting, we'll go over it, and then I will try to answer them as best as I can. Also, we will announce the results of our Trader of the Month contest at the end as well. So let's just get started. All right. What an interesting month April was. Some good day, some bad day. Just interesting overall. Market has been in such a flux where there is no clear direction. Actually, hold on, let me. All right, sorry for that. Let's just take a look at the chart while we are at it. So the March rally, as you all know, second half of the March, we saw this amazing rally where market bounced off of 418 level on SPY, pretty much 415, and all the way to 462. And that was the end of the month for March. And then April started right here, pretty much right here. And since that point on, we are pretty much going down throughout the month. There has been days, I would say weeks, where we tried to bottom and tried to bounce, but failed at the SMA resistance level on a yearly chart, and then pulled back again. This last week and week prior to that, we saw some big earnings coming out in tech names and banks and all the other sectors as well. But everybody was keeping an eye on tech, especially. And when tech failed, the whole market got spooked. If big trillion-dollar valuation companies are not performing and getting business, then that is a concerning sign. Also, inflation is still rising. Feds are still tightening the interest rate and policies around the economy. So a lot of factors were playing. And also, as you guys all know, the Ukraine-Russia war is still going on. That war is pretty much priced in. So at this point, it's not affecting market, but it's still something that we need to keep an eye on. But at the close of Friday, at the end of the April, we are pretty much at the same level where we were at the end of February, pretty much like last week of February, the lowest we have been during this pullback from the all-time high levels. So now going into tomorrow, or I mean the next month, if we break this level, then it can go back to 403 and then 400, and there will be new levels in play at that time. We haven't seen this level prior to February 24th. We haven't seen this level since pretty much May in 2021. But this was the worst month, as you guys know, in a while that we have seen. But interesting to say the least. Like, even during this downturn, even when market was trending down, we did well as a group of people and as a group of traders. We did really, really well. You guys will see later on during the TradeLog review that our success rate is still close to 90%. In this market condition where everything is so fragile and directionless and going in both direction, like there is no follow through. One big down day followed by a green day followed by big round red day. Same thing here again, big red day, pull back, bounce again, red day, red day, green day, red day, green day. Like it's like there is no clear direction. It's going all over the place. There is no follow through. You cannot hold calls or puts or whatever overnight thinking that market will pretty much go in the same direction the next day. So a lot of uncertainty. But even during this time, we all did very, very well. So I'm proud of ourselves as well as proud of all of you. You guys did really well as well. We have seen a couple of members do the trading challenges, and they are doing quite well. A lot of other people are making good amount of money, and even if they are not like I talked to a couple of members, even if when they're not making money, they're not losing money, they're not losing capitals, they're learning, improving. This is unprecedented time in most of the traders' career. Last time when we have seen something like this was back in 2008, as you guys know, like market. The first this bad first quarter hasn't been seen in quite some time. This market condition hasn't been seen in quite some time. Like this extended period of uncertainty and random pullbacks and bounce back and all that. So for a lot of traders, this is like their first sort of bear market cycle. So if you can survive, and there is a saying in trading community that if you're not a real trader, you're not a professional until you survive a bear market. You go through a full cycle of a bear market and bull market. So we saw extended bull market, especially the period between 2020, May 2020, and up until November of last year. We saw that huge bull market. Now we are seeing consolidation period. So if I go back on the chart right here, let's see if we can zoom out more, please. All right, right here, this was the March. Oh wait, okay, I'm just gonna go on weekly. There we go. That's much better. So this was the March pullback. And since that point on, March 23, we saw this huge, huge bull market where not only we went past the all-time high, we made pretty much all-time high every other week or so up until November 2020. And that's when 2021, and that's when this consolidation started, pullback happened, more consolidation, more pullback, a little bounce back, pull back again. So since then, the market has been very bad. But people who started trading here and even here, they haven't really seen a bear market yet. And we are, or even the extended period of consolidation. The trading environment and is constantly changing, is ever evolving. Just like patterns. If you guys have watched my webinar on patterns, and trend lines, you should know that charts are ever evolving, and just like that, the stock market is ever evolving. Like, so with that, you have to keep changing your strategies. But how do you prepare and how do you strategize for something that you have never experienced before? And that is why you're not a real trader until you experience the full cycle. And I have seen it before. 2012, when I first started trading, that was another bear market that we experienced. Not to 2008 extent when we saw recession, but that was bear market. So I've gone through a few bear markets, and you need to change the strategy based on where you are. That being said, we did quite well. So I'm proud of you all, and we are adopting. If you guys have been with us for a longer period of time, you know, during that bull market, we were pretty much trading calls throughout, and people would ask us like, "Hey, why are you not trading puts?" And our answer was that you don't take puts in a bull market, because every other day it's just going up and up and up and up. There might be one or two bad weeks here and there, but overall trend is up. So you play calls. Now the situation has changed. Now we are trading below the 200-day SMA. below 100-day SMA. We are facing resistance at the 100 and 200-day SMA. We are seeing huge pullback. So the situation has changed. Market has evolved. So with that, you have to update your strategy, and which is what we did. We are now looking at both. Even if you just look at the watch list from like a year ago, last April or May, to the watch list right now, before we were just giving levels on the upside because that was the direction we were going, and now we are giving it levels on the both side because there is a possibility of sell off like almost every day. So all in all, market is still in limbo. We can still see a further pullback. It's actually very weak right now. We are nearing bear market territory. NASDAQ is already in bear market territory, but we are doing well. And that is the most important thing here. So I'm very proud of you all. So let's go back and take a look at our trade log. So first, there was only one day of April in the first week itself, and we did decent. We made some good trades in Crowd and Amazon, and a lot of yeah, there was not much to say. It was pretty much Friday, and we did some quality trades, and that was that. Nothing to mention there. And I do want to mention that I really hope that you guys are keeping track of your trades and keeping a trade log. This is not to just keep track of our successes, but also our losses. And we learn the best lessons through our losses. And I tell people, like pretty much every trade log review meeting, I remind you guys to create a trade log. It literally takes 5 minutes of your time at the end of the trading day, or at the end of the day. If you're busy, if you're at a job, you can do it. 5 minutes, maximum 10 minutes at the end of the day. That's all you need. If you can't do it day to day, do it at the end of the week. That's fine too. But keeping track of your trades is very important, because you can go back and take a look at, like, okay, this is what's working for me, and this is what's not working for me. And all you have to do is go back and eliminate the things that are not working. And it's just as simple as that. If this one small step will improve your trading by tenfold, and I can guarantee you on that one. But if you cannot visualize, if you cannot keep track of your mistakes and keep track of what you are doing wrong, how do you hope to correct that mistake? Let's just say I took this Twitter call, and this was basically right after they reported earnings, or I think, no, the first time it ran up on the acquisition news made possibly. But Twitter was going crazy that day. The first day we made good money on it, decent 50% gain. The next day we entered in it again, and it pretty much hasn't seen that level since. And that is another lesson, that the first green day after it's jumping on the news, we should have let it settle down a little bit before entering in it again on the next day. So that was my lesson on it. But now it doesn't happen that often. But I still should have like put stop loss on it and minimize my losses, stuff like that. But this is me visualizing my mistake. This is me keeping track of my mistakes. So something like this happens again, I'm prepared for it. The lessons we teach you guys, the lessons where we tell you, like, hey, do this, do that, do that. It didn't come to us. We didn't read it in a book. We didn't watch it in a YouTube video. We learned those lessons over the last 10 years of trading hard way, by losing money on it. Now we know better. And the way we learn it is by keeping track of those mistakes and creating rules around those for ourselves. And now we are passing those rules down to you guys, that, hey, you should do this, you should do that. No, don't overexpose your account. more than 40%. Don't take position more than this, or have stop loss here, or all these rules. We learned it through our experience, and more importantly, by losing money. But now we know better because we took track of it. But those were our mistakes, right? So you will be making your own mistakes. You will learn from our mistakes. You will improve upon that. And hopefully you will not make the same mistakes. But that's not to say that you will not make your own mistakes. And those mistakes we cannot help you with until like either you keep track of it and bring it up and be like, hey, I may keep making these mistakes. How do I correct it? And then we can guide you around that, right? But if you keep making the same mistake, you're not keeping track of the mistakes, you don't even know that you're making the mistakes because you're not keeping track of it, then how you hope to correct it? You are going to keep making those same mistakes week after week, month after month, year after year. And you will never get to a point where you're consistently profitable, because you're still making the same mistake without knowing that you're making that mistake. I hope that makes sense. But that is why TradeLog is so important. Even if you take only like 5 trades a week, that's fine. Write it down so that you know, okay, this strategy is working for me. This is how I'm entering in this trade, and this is where I'm exiting, and it's working for me. So next time, do more of that and do the less of that's not working. Keep track of your mistakes, and that's how you become better. Anyhow, so week 2, the first day, week 2, let's see, which was April 4th, right here, right there. So that was one of the second day of the April. Green candles, a lot of stock bounced nicely, and we took full advantage of it. We traded Google, Amazon, AMD, Tesla, Crowd, Twitter, and all of those trades worked. We took almost 10 trades, I believe, on that day. And if you managed to take 2 or 3 of those trades, you probably would have made good money for the rest of the week, where you don't have to take any risk. And then the next day, as you guys see, huge red day again. After this huge green day, we slowed down. The next day, we only took 2 trades. The day after that, we only took 3 trades. And even of those 3 trades, even of those total 5 trades in 2 days, 2 of them didn't work. Now, if you were to go in full swing, just like how we did it here, and take 10 trades, by this ratio, half of them would have worked. And that is why understanding the overall broader market and where we are and how the overall market is looking is very, very important to coming up with a trade plan. This is why we mentioned in our watch list, like, hey, futures were here, futures are there. This is what it looks like. So it's probably going to be a highly volatile day, probably going to trade sideways, market is going to be slow, market is going to be volatile, all these things that we mentioned in the morning and throughout the days, so you guys are aware of like where the overall market stands. And your trade plan, if you guys have watched how to take a winning trade LeapMeet, then you will know the first step of taking a winning trade is understanding and observing the overall market. That is the basic step, because that is how you determine that this is what I'm going to do for this day. So anyhow, it wasn't looking, good for that day. So we drastically reduced our size, drastically reduced our exposure to the market, only 2 trades, and then the following day, only 3 trades. And then market shows some sign of reversal here after 2 red day, some green day here. And even though it closed red on Friday, it did try to bounce and go higher and ran into resistance at the 100-day SMA. The 200-day SMA is right here, 100 days right here. So even though it wasn't a sell-off, it was still a decent day, and we made sure to take advantage of it. We went back in again, 4 or 5 trades a day, and made good money. A couple of 100%er as well, actually 3. Three of the trade went over 100%. One of Costco, Admin H completely nailed it. And and then 90% on HD, 100% on Walmart. So even though tech was lagging, we quickly changed our focus on something that was running at that time, which was retail, and we nailed those. But good week, decent week overall. Only 2 losing trade throughout the week, which is always a good thing. Week 3 came in, and this is when the earnings slowly started to come out. Not full swing yet, but it was a short week. As I noticed here, only 4 trading days, which almost always makes trading very tricky, because the premiums, one of the big component of premiums is theta, which determines the time that has left before the expiration. And with the short week, it makes it trickier, because the decays happen unusually fast, especially overnight. So it was a tricky week, but we still managed to get some good trades. This crowd trade here was absolutely stellar, which Admin H took at $1. The next day went almost to $5, took full advantage of it, almost 400% gain. A lot of you made money on that as well, so good job. Then the following day, some decent trade again. One losing trade in Amazon on Thursday. It was a lotto. Should have left it alone. After initial puts in the Amazon that worked, and we made 42%, should have left it alone after that. But I didn't. So that was my mistake. And this is how you keep track of your mistakes. So if I see something like this, where I'm writing to myself after in the notes that should have left it alone after the initial play, should have left it alone after the initial play, should have left it alone after the initial play. If you see this happening 2, 3, 4 times over the course of a month or 2 months, then you know that you're over trading. That is a sign of over trading. That is a sign where it shows that you should have stopped after the initial win. Over trading is another thing where where a lot of people give back their profit, and you don't even know you're over trading, because again, you're not keeping track of your trades. So another important thing to keep in mind, and that was me over trading. The day itself wasn't that great. Should have left it alone, but I went for it again and lose profit and more. So that was the end of the week 3. Only 1 losing trade, so nothing too bad. We made most of it again. Couple of 100% trades as well, actually. Yeah, a couple of 100% plus trade here. That's always a good thing. Come week 4, now the earnings started coming out the week 4, and things started becoming more and more unstable, in the sense that a lot of names started moving sideways. Snap earnings affected Facebook and all that sort of stuff. We still did some good trades, but as you can see, our mistake here was, even though these were lottos, small lottos, nonetheless, we didn't have any stop loss. So this was earning lotto. Not having stop loss is fine. Should have had stop loss here. Same thing with Nvidia, but this was, as you guys can see, this was Friday, so it was Friday lotto. Excuse me. Most of them worked. 2 of them didn't, but we still got a couple of good trades in Google, where 233% and 176%, almost close to 100%. So we absolutely nailed Google on that day. Even though Amazon and Nvidia didn't work, the losses were already covered by this just one play where we made 233%. So overall, good day. Should have picked on the direction. This Amazon Lotto, I remember, even the whole market was down, everything was put. I just took it just because I thought it's going to bounce, but I should have stayed away. So so I'm doing this live in front of you guys, like how I write my comments, how I write my notes. It used to be very, very extensive when I first started it. I would write down why I entered, why I exited where I did. Now I'm at a point after almost 10 years that I don't need to make it that extensive. But this is still a good way for me to know, okay, this is what I'm doing wrong. And then come week 5, big earnings week. A couple of losing trades, but most of our trades work extremely well, especially last Friday was probably our biggest day in TRADEORE history, where we almost had 6 or 7 100% plus trades. This week was crazy good. But again, the same mistake happened. Should have had. So based on this, if I ask you guys, what could we do better next time? And that would be having stop loss in place. And that is the important thing to focus on. But again, when your wins are so much bigger and when your win to lose ratio is so much higher, even though you're taking 100% loss on a lot of this position, it's not going to affect your bottom line trading as much. You could have still saved a lot of money. Like for the example, this 850 trades, should not have held it overnight. Um, should not have held this overnight. Um, could have saved me like almost $400. So that was a mistake. I probably will add this as a rule for near future, to not hold an overnight expensive position overnight, because that will save me a lot of money going further because market is still in the same condition. So that is me keeping track of my mistake and also focusing on not to make the same mistake again. Um, Mistakes are going to happen. Nobody has 100% win rate, but you can get damn close to it, like how we are 90%. This month, 89%. We took 98 trades in total, 88 were wins and 10 losses in a month. That is fantastic results. It can't get better than that. We can still go higher, 91, 92, but it's never going to be 100%. You are going to make a mistake, but focus on making new mistakes. Don't repeat the mistakes. That is the focus. That is the thing that you need to do. Everybody makes mistakes. After 10 years, I'm still making the mistakes, and I'm ashamed to say that I kind of like make the same mistake of letting my trades go to zero. But that happens. Nobody's perfect. Nobody. If someone tells you that, okay, I have perfected trading and my win rate is 100% or 99%, they're lying. Nobody's perfect. Everybody make mistakes because we can't see the future. We can't see what's going to happen next 10 minutes. So there is no way to predict it. But if you follow rules, if you keep track of your mistakes, if you correct your mistakes, if you focus on getting better day after day, you can get damn close to it, where you are in a position where your wins are bigger, where your win to loss ratio is bigger, and obviously at the end of the day you are going to be in great profit. If one of our member has been sharing his trading journey with us throughout last month, uh, he didn't win every single trade he took. You all know who I'm talking about, Bachu. He didn't win every single trade he took, but he made sure that his wins were bigger than his losses, and his win to loss ratio is bigger. And that is why at the end of the day, he made huge profit. Not because he had 100% success rate, not because he focused on winning every single trade that he take, but because he made sure that the mindset was correct and the way he was approaching trading was correct, and he can attest to it. It took him a year to get to this position, but he's there, and now he's making the most of it. So there is a lesson to learn for everybody there, that it takes time, but if you focus on what I said, then you will, at the end of the day, you will win. It can get frustrating. It's never a linear. Success rate is never linear. There are ups, there are downs. There are days where you feel like you don't know what you're doing, or it's never going to work out, or you're wasting your time. It's always going to be there. Again, we don't know the future, so to be in this type of market, it takes tremendous courage, and you guys are here, so that in that sense you're already winner. A lot of people are afraid, a lot of people don't want to take that risk to change their life. Even though it's risky, you guys are here and you guys are putting in work. My job, our job here, is to make sure that you're pushing and you're making effort in the right direction. But make no mistake, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be linear where you make money a month after month without losing anything, without having losses in between, without having days, week, even months where you lose money. If you think that's not going to happen, then you have unrealistic expectations. And one of our job here is to make sure that you have realistic expectations towards the trading. This is why we don't make false promises where we say, oh, you can get hundreds of thousands of dollars, or this is a get quick rich scheme. A lot of you, before you joined, you reached out to us and be like, hey, do you think I can make money, or do you think I can do this by following alerts? And we always say no. If your goal is to find a way to get easy money, then you're barking at the wrong tree. This is not the way to do it. You are going to have to put in hard work. You are going to have to trade through hard weeks, hard days, hard months. But if you do it, at the end of the day, you're going to make a bucket load of money. That I can guarantee. But you're going to make it next week, next month, next quarter, without putting in any effort and just waking up and trying to follow trades and going to bed without doing anything, then you're never going to get there. But if you're willing to work hard, do what we say, follow rules, put in effort day after day, week after week, year after year, then it will change your life. That much I can guarantee. So focus on that. Don't focus on negatives, focus on positives. Focus how much better you have gotten since you started trading and how far you still have to go. And once you get there, visualize it, manifest it. That's what I'm trying to say here. Don't give up. A lot of people get discouraged after one bad month and they're like, oh, this is just not for me. What did you expect? It was going to be a piece of cake? Like, no, it never is. Nothing worthwhile, nothing that's worthwhile, like worth doing or worth having or any of that stuff is easy ever. But a lot of people, because of the internet, because of crazy YouTube videos and influencer, people have unrealistic expectations. And that's one of the things why a lot of traders come in, try for a month or two, lose money, and then just go back to what they were doing before. I sincerely hope that you're not one of them, and sincerely hope that you get to the goals that you have set for yourself. But again, you will have to put in work. And one of that work is writing TradeLog every day, every week, every month, keeping track of your mistakes, correcting those. That takes effort. It's never waking up and following alerts, and that's never going to work out. And if that's one of you, if that's you, then please save yourself money and just put it in the savings account or something rather than wasting it here, because you will not win. I can guarantee you that much. Anyway, so that was the TradeLog review for the week, for the month. And before we dive into Q&A, let's take a look at, let's find out who is our trader of the month. All right, so here we have entered all the names here. You probably can see on the wheels, but basically if you had, according to the rules, we had, hold on, let me pull up those rules. There we go. So according to rules, if you share your screenshot in closed positions for option plus, you get 5 entries. If you do the same thing for the free server, you get 10 entries. If you do testimonial, you get 40. If you do testimonial in free, you get 40 entries. If you just write your trades, you get single entry. If you follow us on Twitter, Instagram, you get 20 entries. If you tweet us on the Twitter, you get 15 entry. And for attending live LeapMeet, you get 30 entries. So you calculated all that. So people who has posted screenshot obviously have more entries. So everybody, Bachubai was leading the way. M8A4, I don't know the name, Jay Narola, Bright Buddies, P-Raj, a lot of people did that. A lot of people posted with the screenshot as well. So there, as you can see, the multiple entries for them. So let's see, there we go. So that was for the entire month. And let's find out who won. Ready? All right, let's do it. All right, Solus Sims, you are the winner, my friend. And for the next renewal for the month, you will get 50% discount. So congratulations on that. And congratulations on being first trooper of the month. Good job. And please coordinate with admin H for the payment for the renewal and everything else. Again, congratulations, and congratulations to all of you who posted your trades in the room and everything. We appreciate you guys, and thank you for doing that. Thank you for motivating each other and yourself. When you share your success, people will get motivated. When you share your losses, people learn from it. And in this community, I want all of us to push each other to be better, to win better, to lose better, and just get better as a trader day after day, week after week. That is our goal here, and you guys are doing a fantastic job at it. So thank you very much for that. And with that, we will open the floor for question and answer. Hi, Ashwini. For Forward Plus, we currently have 5 members, and it's a different program. We work on one-on-one basis with each member. So basically, we create a trade plan for them. We stay on the Zoom call day after day. We review their trades with them. So it's a lot of work. And it's a lot of work on my part, on our part. It's a lot of investment of time. So once we expand the intake, the more member they are, the more work it is for us, because we're working on one-on-one with every single member. So because of that, at one point, it's not worth it for us. So the initial thought behind creating that Forward Plus plan was to help out members one-on-one live who are stuck, who has made progress but hit a plateau, and now they just need that extra push on how to trade day to day. So our goal was that once people learn that, they will drop and start doing trades on their own or following trades on the option plus, but they're not leaving. And that's why we are not taking anybody right now. So we are having discussions around how to go around this issue, or not an issue, but how to go around this and see if we can do something for other members as well who wants to join and who has been on the wait list for almost over a year now. But once we do, we'll share the updates with you guys. Any other questions? All right, if no other questions, then thank you again, everyone, for joining us on LeapMeet 63, April 2022 TradeLog review and interactive Q&A session. We really appreciate you being here, joining us, being part of this community and contributing to it to make it better. And we'll see you all next month. Thank you again.